the Eagles. So the Eagles Commanders game, I like, even though like the Commanders, like the score is 55-23, this game was definitely closer than I thought it was, and the Commanders more so lost it than the Eagles winning it.
I agree.
Like, I mean, even after that terrible start for the Commanders, they had a good first drive down the field, scored a touchdown, but I'm talking about when the Eagles got the ball and scored on that first play. Like, they survived that, and then the Eagles go up 14-3, and right there you think it's over. But then they go down and score. And so you're just like, all right, 14-10, you kind of like survived the first like storm, and you're in the game, and it's only a 4-point game. But then like just the turnovers killed them.
Yeah.
Like the fumbles, like forget who the wide receiver was, but he had one run.
D'Ami Brown, that early fumble.
Yeah.
That like set the tone for everything. It was like, all right, that it's gonna be that kind of game.
Yeah, and even like after that, like Philly goes up 21. What's it, 21-10 at that point?
Mm-hmm.
And I forget, maybe it was 21-13, and you're like, all right, like these guys can get this. It's a 1-score game going into halftime, and they have the ball. They were, and then they turned it over right before halftime there.
Yeah, it was,
and that's when you kind of like, gosh, like you can't make this many mistakes and
exactly
expect to win.
I feel the same way. Like early, it was like, oh, D'Ami Brown, that's a fumble, that's bad, and then yeah, like that Saquon run, the Saquon run and the Brown fumble, to me set the tone. It was like, oh, all right. I mean, Daniels and the Commanders had to fight for those 3 points in the first drive. And then it was like, oh, Saquon takes over that insane run that he pops off every game. Then D'Ami Brown fumbled. And then, I mean, so the Eagles forced that fumble. And then what exactly happened after that? Whatever happened.
Yeah, so it's 20-12.
Okay.
Going with the like a minute 30 left. And the Commanders fumbled it, and that's when the Eagles just went in and scored to make it 27.
Facts. So the Eagles scored, and then McNichols fumbled it on the kickoff. That was horrible. That was like, oh, come on, dude. Like, you had your chance to even put up 3 points and make it a 5-point game going into halftime, but he fumbles it. They score. It's 27-12 at that point.
Yeah, and for everything that went wrong, like, they were right there.
They were right there.
To be in that game.
They got 3 more points. It was 27-15 going into half.
Yeah.
They got a stop. And then after they got that stop, they were in it. They really were in it. But it was like, oh, no. They came at a half. The Commanders' D gave Daniels a chance. And then the Eagles' D, I mean, the Eagles' defense is dominant. Jalen Carter, all those guys, like, they made Daniels earn literally everything. And he earned a bunch. He kept it close for a bit, and then Eckler fumbled it. He went down, got up, they punched the ball out, and at that point, it was like, oh. And then the tush-push thing happened.
Yeah.
And it was like, we can't stop these guys.
Yeah, and there was another fumble, too. I'm thinking it was like still like 34-23. It was an 11-point game. It was like the end of the third quarter, and you're like, okay, like if they're able to score here, this is a game right here,
Yeah, and then Eckler fumbled it, right?
No, I think it was...
Was it another one? Because that's insane. Like, how do you keep turning the ball over? In a game where you have to play perfect. Like, we came into the game knowing, oh, the Commanders have to play a perfect game. Daniels has to play perfect. But then the receivers, they can't make stupid mistakes like this if they want even a chance to win it. And that's exactly what happened. Stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles are so good, you have to play a perfect game if you're the Commanders, and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah, and they have the worst run defense in the league, and it didn't help their best pass rusher.
No.
The run stopper was missing.
Because he can't stop Saquon, and then Hurts did pretty well. Like, he kind of lit up that defense.
A.J. Brown was playing good, where
he was.
He wasn't doing much before in the playoffs, so it was good to see them. Like, that was a good all-around game for them.
Exactly.
Get back on track, and I mean, it was a closer game than the score says.
Exactly.
For sure.
Like, I mean, you had the Eckler fumble, you had the McNichols fumble, the D'Ami Brown fumble, and the Sanders still late hit, which basically gave them a few more points. That late hit on Saquon.
Yeah.
Those are 4 mistakes that's just like, all right, if you cut those in half, who knows where this game goes? Because
you take away half those fumbles, like this
you
game's
said,
like a one or two score game.
Like you said, it was extremely close, and those mistakes just set it apart. But, I mean, with Saquon on the other side of the ball, that dominant defense, like, I'm not surprised by the outcome. I don't know about you. Like, this is kind of what I expected to happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, in the end, that defense, that run game brings them to the Super Bowl. You want to move into the Chiefs-Bills game a little bit?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to cover?
I mean, not to keep downing on the Commanders, like, you look at their season, they had a great, like, you call it a Cinderella run almost. Like,
you would, 100%.
They
Rookie quarterback.
They were picking second in the draft last year, so it's like...
You got to be bad to pick second.
I mean, this is like... You couldn't even dream of this, honestly.
And Dan Snyder was owning the team just a few years ago. I know he's the biggest hater of them all right now.
Yeah, and it looks like they're building something there. Like, I've watched, like, his, like, post-game, like, presser walking out, and he was, like, just saying to guys, you know, embrace the moment. Like, not every team is like this. So he's building a culture there. And, I mean, he, for his years in Atlanta, like, that he didn't win his massive, like, mishaps. Like, he also had a competitive team almost every single year.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this guy can clearly coach, and he's like, I think they'll be a wagon for a while.
100%. He led a top of the league defense in Dallas for a few years. Then you got Cliff Kingsbury, who's had his issues as well, but I mean, they've clearly overcome it. They just had a really, really successful season. There's really nothing to hate on for the Commanders. Like you said, they weren't expected to win this game. They weren't expected to be there in the first place. So yeah, huge win for the Eagles though. I'm happy for Saquon, Vic Fangio, that defense. Real quick before we move into that game, Vic Fangio was Miami's DC last year, and guys like Jalen Ramsey, the entire Miami team, they didn't want him there. And I was watching McAfee today, and they were talking about how Mike McDaniel, like, he doesn't even fine guys for being late. They're comparing it to the Pete Carroll hire in Vegas. Yeah. And they're just talking about a drastically different culture. Like, Mike McDaniel, I love him as a play caller, but I don't know. There's something weird about that culture. Yeah. They threw shots at Indianapolis' culture, too.
Yeah, like, guys like Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn, like, I can see them, like, getting up in guys' faces and grilling them, like, if they aren't putting in 100%, where I don't see Mike McDaniel doing that if somebody's slacking off. I don't know. I just,
Like, McDaniel doesn't hold guys accountable to the level of a Dan Quinn or Dan Campbell. They're better leaders of men. I mean, at least by their resumes.
And it could be, too, because, like, he coaches a ton of, like, older guys on that defense. Like, it's Jalen Ramsey. Then on the interior, I'm pretty sure they got, what's his name? The big D lineman has been around.
They had Calais Campbell.
Sue.
And Sue, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so, these guys.
I don't know. Guys have been around a while. They don't. I don't know.
100%. And it's kind of weird how they pushed Vic Fangio out of that defense. The players didn't want him. They're probably comfortable in that Mike McDaniel culture. They don't really care about winning. I mean, I guess the results kind of show Vic Fangio's in the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, and I remember that was the problem with the Eagles last year. Like, their defense, like, even though their offense was still putting up a ton of points, like, that was when A.J. Brown had that unbelievable season. Like,
facts.
So I think he definitely has gotten them back on track. And even, like, early in the season, it wasn't smooth. Like, there were a lot of, like, rumblings. Like, they lost. I forget there was one game, but then, yeah, coaches beefing with the fans.
The Browns game. They lost to the Falcons and the Bucks, and then they went to the Browns. They barely beat him, and Sirianni's, like, fighting with the crowd.
Yeah.
I was really out on the Eagles and Sirianni at that point, but hey, here they are in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, huge credit to their culture. You got to give Sirianni even his props at some point. I got to. Never been the biggest fan of him, but hey, they're in the Super Bowl again. So, credit to the Eagles. The Bills-Chiefs. What'd you think of that game?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. I know everybody was kind of like, oh, like, this is Josh Allen's year. He gets over the hump. Just to go into Kansas City and beat them there is a whole different animal of themselves. Like, as much as I've been hearing on Boston Sports Radio this morning about how they aren't the Patriots yet and they aren't close, but, like, there's nothing else to compare going into that place and playing there. Like, and, like, I just think, like, they're going to find a way to win when it matters.
Facts. Like,
I don't know if it's Josh Allen's fault specifically, but like there's definitely like that first drive of the game, they come out and like he almost threw 2 interceptions, like in 3 downs. So
he came out and looked shaky immediately. Like 2 of those plays out of 3 on that first drive were turnover worthy. And then they come out on the second drive, he fumbles a snap, and then he fumbles another ball in the second or third drive. They got it back, but still, he definitely came out shaky. But to your point, like there's nothing else to compare the Chiefs to except the Patriots. They dominate everyone. And even like teams like the Ravens and Bills, like statistically, they're the best every year. Allen and Lamar put up better numbers than Mahomes. They, sometimes finish with a better record. They blow teams out. The Chiefs don't. I think like almost all their wins were within like 7 points. It's insane.
Yeah.
Even when the numbers aren't crazy, even when they're not dominating teams, situationally they always win. They always make that one play, that extra play, and it's kind of what Brady did. Like back when Tyreek was there, Mahomes would always find Tyreek for a crazy play when they needed it the most. Now he always finds Kelsey when he needs it the most. Like it always goes right. It always works out for the Chiefs. Situationally, they dominate everyone, and I can't blame it on Josh Allen. Can't blame it on anybody. Mahomes, Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, Chris Jones, these guys are insane.
And, like, I'm just fast forwarding to the end of the game now. We can talk more about other stuff, but I was going to say, too, like, Mahomes, like, that last drive of the game for Josh Allen, when he's down 3 and he has a chance to go down and tie it. I don't know how else to explain this, but, like, and I'm sure like most other people feel this way, but they put the camera on Mahomes and you're just like, this dude's scoring no matter what. Exactly. Like if the Bills score, like he's getting the ball back and he's going right down the field. Like, so I just like, it is greatness, and people around here don't want to talk about him and Brady in the same sentence, but I think it's about time.
It's about time.
Yeah. You can start doing that.
So he's got 2 MVPs or 3? 2 MVPs, right?
Yeah.
Let me look up his Pro Football Reference just so I don't fumble it. But, I mean...
they got three Super Bowls.
3 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs for Mahomes, and he's been to the Super Bowl 4 times. So he's 3-1, right?
And 7 straight AFC championships, which they were talking about last night, which is like... That's like...
That's insane. 7?
Yeah.
Like, we're not at 4 or 5 anymore. We're at 7. We're getting close to 10.
I don't know how many of the Patriots. Let's see.
They let guys through. They let Ben through. They let Flacco through. Peyton Manning got through a few times. Like, Burrow's the only guy who's gotten through Mahomes besides literally Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's got a 17-3 or 18-3 playoff record.
Yeah, let's see. Patriots.
He's now... First career, Mahomes is now 17-3 in the playoffs, only losing to Brady, and Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
that's insane. 7 straight AFC championships, or being there.
So, like, I don't know. I wasn't surprised by this outcome, especially them losing earlier in the season to them. You just kind of had a feeling like, oh, it was like, I don't know, this be their get back.
Because what's Allen? Allen in the regular season is literally undefeated against Mahomes, right? Allen is 4-1 against Mahomes in the regular season. He's 0-4 in the playoffs. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But, I mean, it's the Chiefs' defense, too.
It is.
Like, that Spagnuolo had those guys. Like, I see, like, him brought up in head coaching conversations on Twitter all the time. Everybody's always like, no, he's not a head coach. We're like, I don't know what else he needs to really do to prove that, like...
Right. At this point, it's got to be that he doesn't want the job, because he's done his job. He's absolutely a viable candidate. I mean, like, Aaron Glenn's easily getting head coaching jobs. No disrespect to Aaron Glenn, but, I mean, we're talking about Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator here. He hasn't gotten a job. It took Bieniemy forever to get a job, which is interesting because it obviously didn't really work out. But, hey, I don't know. It's got to be that he doesn't want a job, right?
Yeah, or I'm just looking. I just Googled Andy Reid's age. He's 66. I thought he was older for some reason. Maybe just because of his looks.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe he's waiting out Andy Reid to be done in the next 2 or 3 years, and then he he's the successor. Who knows?
Right?
I don't know.
And I mean, Spagnuolo's 65 too, but I mean, yeah, they look completely different.
Okay.
So, and I don't think Reed has too much longer. Spagnuolo looks like he's young. I mean, it's crazy. He had a head coaching job, was it with the Giants before?
Yeah.
And it didn't pan out. But I mean, hey, stuff like this happens all the time. Like Josh McDaniels, a great offensive coordinator, not a great head coach. Maybe Spagnuolo has the humility. Dan Quinn, yeah, he's had success, but he's also
he was the head coach for the Rams for 2 years when they weren't good.
Wow, really?
But
so guys, some guys like the opportunity, some guys don't. I guess he doesn't want it, but I mean, even if he does want a head coaching job, why would you leave at the same time? There's a bunch of different reasons why he may not have taken. It doesn't make sense though. He's so good.
But like even the Chiefs, like they got all these guys that make plays. Like even their best wide receivers out, and you still have guys stepping up like
Juju,
Hollywood Brown, like
Worthy.
Yeah, Xavier, dude, that guy is gonna be so good.
Exactly, 100%. He's a dog.
So fast.
He's a dog too. Like
he's a better Mecole Hardman.
Exactly. And that's dangerous because you saw what they did with Mecole Hardman. He had the Super Bowl winning touchdown last year.
Yeah.
And, he got a contract somewhere else and he came back. Like the Chiefs just make everything work.
Yeah, Juju, he left. He comes back. Like these guys, it's almost.
Did DeAndre Hopkins even have a catch last night?
They tried to get him going. I don't think so.
It's insane what they do. Juju was the impact player. Kareem Hunt, who was here 5 years ago, and he bounced around, obviously.
Like an animal.
It's insane. I mean, Juju was the difference maker last night, I think. I mean, what was that stat? 230 passing yards from Mahomes and
60 yards for Juju. Yeah, like Kelsey only had 20 yards.
That's insane.
Like
that's incredible.
He's kind of a decoy out there.
And Mahomes right here on Pro Football Reference, his nicknames were Showtime, Magic Man, the Gunslinger. Now, I mean, what, 230 yards and like 15 of them weren't after the catch or something?
No, he threw 245 passing yards like in the air, and then 230 of his like 480 were
that's
after the catch.
So I mean, when he first came into the league, he's throwing it all over the place. Teams, patch up on that, and he still makes it happen. In the most simplistic way, him and Andy Reid, they always get it done. It's incredible. It's really incredible what they do.
All right, can I do some breaking news here? I got another notification.
Let's hear it.
This is just like completely unrelated, but
let's hear it.
Guess who has been suspended once again?
John Morant?
No, Jimmy Butler.
No way.
So
what's it say?
It just says he'll be suspended indefinitely as tensions are rising around the requested trade.
Hmm.
So, and that dude's not getting traded.
No,
convinced.
He's not.
I don't know who's trading for him. I don't know. It just makes me laugh. I just saw that and I was like, oh my God.
Here, do you want to talk about the NFL for like 2 more minutes just so we can finish up this game and then hop into that? Because I really do want to talk about that. But my takeaway from this game was just that, I mean, no matter how good Allen played, it wasn't good enough. Because Mahomes always gets it done. Even if it doesn't look amazing, he always gets it done. And then Allen, he plays not a perfect game, but he plays a really good game. Like, he left some points on the table, some drives on the table, but that's just, testament to no matter how good you play, it's not good enough if you don't play perfect and win against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah, and the one complaint I had from Allen was that, like, he was trying to, like, take deep shots too much.
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, there were a few, like, he just
play your game.
He connected on that one to Matt Collins, like
that was a beautiful throw.
Yeah.
At the most needed time. But still, I get what you're saying. Like
there were probably like 5 or 6 other ones that were just like
double coverage, like could have been picked. Doesn't need to be thrown up there.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, and I will, kind of back up Allen for, 2 things actually. Kincaid on 3rd and 1, it looked like he was over the goal line. Allen 4th and 1 was clearly over the goal line. Or am I wrong? Am I wrong, or was it not clearly a first down?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
You don't?
I don't think it was a first down.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't, I know the ref on the other side came in at a different angle, but it was going towards the left side, and that guy I feel like had the best view of it. And like if they called it on the field like a first down, there's probably not enough to overturn that the other way.
That's true. I don't know. I watched the play and I'm like, I do need to take another look at it. But I watched the play and I was like, wait, that's a clear first down. And I thought Kincaid got over too.
Yeah. No, I just like, I don't know. What about that catch too?
The Kincaid one?
No, the Xavier Worthy one.
Oh, I thought he caught it.
Yeah.
I didn't look too deep into it, but I mean, it was a crazy catch.
Yeah. Like the only thing I could think of like that is like the Edelman catch before, like, right? Yeah. Or like a helmet catch, sort of.
And just to bring up... Yeah, exactly. And just to bring up one more thing. Like, Mahomes throws that up and Worthy catches it. He brings it down. Allen, at the end of the game, he throws it where it needs to be. Kincaid has an opportunity, and I feel like it happens a lot in the NFL, but Kincaid needs to catch that ball, and that's in field goal range.
Yeah.
So Mahomes, sometimes, he gets the luck. Allen doesn't. But at the end of the day, Mahomes won. Allen didn't.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to say is that Allen, it's not over for him because he doesn't have the Eagles defense. He has James Cook, but he doesn't have A.J. Brown. This Bills team can be better around him. Like, Amari Cooper's old. He wasn't on the field a lot.
Like, they kind of wish they got more out of that trade.
Exactly. And Keon Coleman, he's a rookie. He finished with 1 catch. Kincaid, obviously, left some on the table.
What about Dawson Knox? He didn't do anything.
He's that's kind of what I'm saying is I feel like the Bills need something else. Like, even on both sides of the ball, I can't completely put it on Allen until you surround him with...
Yeah, like, I don't know if DeMar Hamlin's, like, a starting safety.
Like, that defense, I mean, injuries obviously played a huge factor, but that defense isn't a top 10 defense. He probably doesn't have a top 10 set of weapons. Shout out to James Cook, though. He's a beast.
The Chiefs won almost every game with their defense this season, and the Bills a lot of the time won with their offense, even though their defense did play good for parts of the season. Like, they've won most of their games, putting up 30-plus points.
100%. Yeah, so. That's how it goes. I mean, I think they definitely need to surround him with a little bit better, but at the same time, Allen's got to play better if he wants to beat Mahomes. That's the end of the... That's how it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. He said it best. To be the champs, you got to beat the champs.
You got to. And Mahomes does it. I mean, his receivers are awash. DeAndre Hopkins. Rice is out for the season. They're bringing guys in. Juju starting. Rookie Worthy. Hollywood Brown. Like,
yeah.
But, I don't know. For the Super Bowl, who you got? I got the Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs, yeah. I just can't bet against Mahomes. I don't know. Even though, like, the Eagles are loaded and stacked, like, I feel like...
It's Mahomes.
Yeah. If this is a close game in the fourth quarter, like...
I think it will be.
Yeah, like, you can't go against Mahomes.
You can't. Especially late in games. I mean, the Eagles are amazing with Saquon and the run game, and the defense is dominant. It's the best in the league. But what does it come down to in the end? It comes to, can your quarterback win an insanely tough game, and Mahomes always does it.
Yeah, like Chiefs, I think the Chiefs' game plan going into this would be like, hey, we got to limit this run game and force Jalen Hurts to make plays.
Exactly. And I mean, if you die with Jalen Hurts airing it out on you, I guess you live with it.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs are going to win it no matter what. No matter how dominant Saquon is, no matter how dominant that defense is. I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm not betting against them.
I agree with you.
I've held tight on that all year. I've won so many bets on the Chiefs this year. I had them win the Super Bowl. I'm good with it. I don't care how good the Eagles are. I'm good with it.
But yeah. No, I think the Chiefs will pull it out.
I agree. So. But yeah, let's move on to the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen this NBA season. Like last year, I feel like we were looking at it and it was like Celtics are probably going to win it all, and they did. But I don't know. This year, the Cavs are scary. The Thunder, a few other teams out of the West. The Celtics are way more vulnerable than they were last year as a whole. But yeah, you want to start talking about Jimmy Butler or something else?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, we can talk about the Cavs. They are slowing down a little bit. So the Celtics are catching up.
They've lost 3 in a row. That's huge.
Yeah. I don't know where really I stand like compared to last season, because I feel like this is the hardest time of the year to judge teams in January, like this kind of dog days of NBA. So it's just like as we've seen with the Celtics, they'll they'll pack it in versus the Lakers. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Big West Coast road trip. But I mean, I think like the East, it's just like kind of years past. Like you can't overlook Milwaukee and Giannis. Like
Never can.
yeah, even though they aren't very good outside of him, like he can win you a series straight up. The
And
Knicks,
he's got Dame too.
yeah. So and they're like, I've been hearing like them in the trade market for like Bradley Beal said he'd be open to getting traded there. There wasn't no trade clause, so people still want to go there. I feel like and play there
Because Giannis is there. Like
yeah,
it's Giannis. He put up 60 or 50 in a game in a finals winner.
yeah, and I feel like they got to make a move like that puts them over the top because like I feel like if they run it back, like they know
They're cooked.
yeah, like maybe their second round exit, but like I feel like if they say they do go in for Bradley Beal, give him a whole bunch more picks, you know what I mean? Move on from Middleton. Who knows? Like if that's what you need, but I don't like Detroit's frisky. They're a 6 seed. Like I don't know. They're hanging around there. Like Cade Cunningham, he's an all-star. He's almost averaging a triple-double.
He's amazing.
So
And Jaden Ivey's been huge too.
yeah, like and then Indiana, like I don't know, Halliburton, like he hasn't been as hot this season as last year, but they still have a good squad around them there, and Siakam's good.
Mm-hmm.
I think like those top 6, any of those teams can kind of beat each other.
I
Even
agree.
put in a healthy Orlando team too.
If they're healthy, absolutely.
Yeah, so like Orlando, Detroit, Indiana, Milwaukee, New York, Boston, Cleveland, they can all beat each other, I think. I mean, obviously, those lower teams, not as much as.
And then who knows what the 76ers could do? I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if they get everybody healthy, you know, could they beat the Magic or the Pistons, the Pacers?
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, the Sixers are so weird. They're 17-27. That's horrible, but you know how
they
it is.
just got to get into that play-in, and they're kind of just like, all right, we got to get healthy, get in the play-in, like go from there. They're 1 game back of Chicago, who's actually kind of been a little frisky. I don't know, like just like they'll beat good teams every once in a while, like they beat the Celtics, but in their last 10, they're 2-8. So
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what the Bulls do.
That's the Bulls. They got some good players, but it's not like a real roster.
Do you think anyone should make a move for Levine or Vucevic?
I mean, I think the Bucks could, because that's a team that, you know, has to fight to keep Giannis, and they do have Giannis and Dame. They could compete. But I think you got to move on from the Middleton era. I think you got to move on from even maybe the Brook Lopez era. Maybe he can stay as a role player, but I mean, that whole core of like Giannis, Middleton, Dame, or Giannis, Middleton, and Lopez, they don't have Holiday anymore. They're not young enough anymore. They can't, you know, take
like
that
Bobby
squad.
Portis is alright.
Yeah, like he's all right, but you know, these aren't guys that could be your 3rd or 4th best player. Especially when you really only have Giannis and Dame. I think that could be a team to make a move. I also think, you know,
I just like Milwaukee, if you get in a playoff series with them, like they're so old between Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, and they got some young guys. Like I feel like they could just kind of get taken advantage of in a 7-game series. Maybe they'll steal a game or 2.
I completely agree. I don't know. I mean, could Orlando? I don't know.
I don't know if
Houston?
Like if Franz is coming back, I would. But yeah, and then the West is a whole different story. I think like anyone. Like, look, if you look at the standings, like, you got OKC, the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, the Lakers at the 5 seed. So, like,
Lakers, I mean, that's a team I feel like has needed, you know, when they get into the playoffs, no matter how bad they've been all regular season or how up and down, at the end of the day, they do have Anthony Davis, they do have LeBron. And I feel like they've gotten into some nice playoff series where they've kind of been sold out by guys like D'Angelo Russell. Austin Reeves is a guy, but he's inconsistent sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have a guy like, I always threw Donovan Mitchell out there, but Cleveland's having success now. Maybe Levine's a guy who can go and add some scoring in the playoffs when you need it.
Yeah.
He's also not the best defender.
Yeah, they've talked about Levine for a while going to there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like, I mean, looking at the playoffs, like, and how wide open it is, like, Like, obviously, they don't want to be matched up with the Thunder or the Nuggets because the Nuggets own them. But other than that, like, I feel like they could get into a playoff series and beat the Grizzlies, if they're the 6th seed, or
absolutely, that's a
or
good
even
team.
the Rockets. Like, because you have AD and LeBron, you run them
exactly
35 minutes.
These are vulnerable teams if you throw LeBron and AD out there. Like, I mean, the Grizzlies are great. The Rockets are great. They're vulnerable. They're not the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, they're young. They haven't done it before, and I don't know.
They've got years before especially the Rockets. Like, they're not there yet. They may be the 2 seed. They may be all great, but they're not winning a championship this year. It's just how it goes. The Lakers, even as a 5 seed, even as a team who struggled the past few years, it doesn't necessarily look like they're on the up. They could beat a team like the Rockets in a 7-game series. They could beat the Grizzlies or the Nuggets. Yeah, the Nuggets own them, but you get the point. They could beat the Clippers,
and then you got Minnesota. The play-in teams are all. Think about the play-in teams right now. It's Minnesota, Phoenix, Dallas, and Sacramento, which I'm pretty sure all 4 of those teams were playoff teams last year, which is I don't know. I feel like it's so wide open. Like Minnesota, they could go on a run again with Anthony Edwards gets hot and they put it together. Phoenix, all you need is KD and Book to start balling. And there are I know their defense isn't great and center is a problem.
The Suns are a team that I wouldn't, and I know they're old and it's a lot to throw in. But if they traded for Jimmy Butler, I seriously think they could make a run in the West.
Really?
Yeah, because I think when you have Booker and Durant, Beal is not. It's never been a good fit. You throw Butler in as a third guy there. They're a team that I think could beat the Rockets. I think they could potentially beat the Grizzlies if they have Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. Nurkic is a problem. They don't play great defense. But Jimmy Butler, you insert that. That's a lot of scoring, playmaking, rebounding, defense, leadership. Yeah. That's a lot. And I feel like they don't have that alpha right in there. They have Booker and Durant, but those guys aren't the guys that are going to lead your team through a tough playoff run.
Yeah. I don't.
And now there's Beal.
Yeah.
I hate that combo.
Yeah, no. He was just a good player who put up stats on a bad team.
Exactly. I don't even know where he fits. I've tried to figure this out in my head. Where could Beal go? I don't know. I really don't know. For the amount of money he's making,
no trade clause too. So
he's not an asset. He's the opposite of an asset. He's a problem.
Yeah,
he's a problem to have. So maybe he needs to go to a team like the Jazz, who will take on his contract. But you have to give up picks to get rid of Beal at this point.
Yeah, and then for someone to eat that money, I don't know, he wouldn't give ideally, you'd send them to a bad team, and you give them a pick, and they'd be like, all right, we'll take them and try to make something of them.
Maybe if you could do a 3-team with Miami.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
the way these new contracts work, in this new agreement they have, it kind of limits what these teams can do too. So it's just I feel like the amount of teams that can actually make a move for him and then pay him a max, the only team that can do that is Brooklyn. So, he's not going to get a max extension. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Another team would have to move money around to pay him. And I just don't. There's a lot of young and up-and-coming teams that I don't, besides, Phoenix or the Lakers. I don't know who else would be doing that.
I feel like the Lakers could be a team that could take Beal. I feel like Beal could help the Lakers. But, again, that's so much money. It's money. It's money, I feel like Beal could be a guy who helps the Lakers. Because, Beal's kind of like a Levine to me. But obviously the money comes in, I feel like the Lakers could take Beal.
Yeah.
Will they take the money? I don't know. And that's an in-conference trade between 2 teams, kind of in a similar situation. So, yeah, that's how I see it. I don't know.
Yeah, and then even you got Dallas, the 8th or the 9th seed, and Luka's been out for a little bit, so that's why their record's a little worse than it is. But
could they afford Jimmy Butler? Could they bring him in?
No, because they pay Clay.
Why did they do that?
Yeah, they have guys like Gafford and stuff making money, so
so they can't.
Yeah.
Memphis, I love for Jimmy Butler, but he doesn't want to go there.
Yeah, and I'm convinced. I texted you this. I was like,
you did.
I was like, I swear to God, it's because Marcus Smart plays for the Grizzlies.
You think it is?
That's what I think it is. I don't just because like I feel like him and Butler had a few scuffles here in Boston. Like they would always get in each other's face.
They definitely did.
So like I feel like there must be some sort of beef there that we don't know about. That
there's got to be.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like that would be the perfect place. The perfect place. And you have Smart and Butler on the same team. I think that's a good thing. I think that's exactly what a team needs. A team like Memphis who has Jaren Jackson, John Morant, Desmond Bain. They have talent. You pair that with Butler and Edie and Marcus Smart. I think that's a team that could beat the Thunder. I think that's a team that could win the West, but without Butler, they can't. I don't think.
No. I mean, they'll definitely make some noise. Jaren Jackson's a beast on defense, and could be all defensive. Then I mean, I don't know. Like they just need to stay healthy. That's always their problem. Like whether it's Bain or Smart or Morant or Jaren Jackson, like their core players are all injury prone. So
exactly, that is the truth. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you put a roster together of guys like that, you got to bank on it, you know? If you're Memphis.
Yeah. Here, I got a question for you.
Bet.
With so Sacramento fired Mike Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look at their record, but I know they're doing better since they've gotten rid of Mike Brown. What do you think of like the Kings? Like, do you think they should keep rolling with what they got, or because they're kind of a team that's just like in the middle? You know what I mean? Like they're a playing team, but they're not bad enough. Like they got some pieces, but you know what I mean?
Well, the DeMar DeRozan move. I mean that. I've never gotten it. You know, I've really. Excuse me. Sorry. This thing just kind of. Whoever's watching on YouTube will know what I mean. Sacramento, I think, is a team. I don't know why they traded for DeMar DeRozan. I guess I got why they did it, but that's not going to win you anything serious in the West. Like that's just going to keep you afloat. I feel like De'Aaron Fox is a guy who could be a centerpiece of a championship team, and I think Sabonis can too. But I don't think DeRozan was a sensible fit for that at all. Yeah. So I think as long as you have DeRozan on that roster, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of touches that may win you some games in the West. But I don't know if it even wins you a playoff series, let alone the conference. Yeah. So, and I think that's the end goal for everyone. So, I think they need to get rid of DeRozan eventually.
Yeah, like they're 10-4 since they fired their head coach. So they have some notable wins. Like they beat the Rockets, they beat the Celtics. You know what I mean? They beat the Warriors, they beat the Grizzlies. So like they're beating like legit teams. So like I think like they're just like they don't play defense. So like. They let up like 120 points a game, which is like they have to score 130 every night to win, which isn't like super reliable. But
no, it's not. It's not a formula for success. And I mean, I don't know if you had a guy like Jimmy Butler instead of DeMar DeRozan, and that's just a random comparison. I think you're a lot better.
I'm gonna push back on the DeRozan piece though. I think he's been playing really good. Like
I think he's good, but they're the 10th seed in the West. And I'm like, so like, what's the long-term plan in Sacramento?
Yeah, that's what the question is.
If DeRozan's a part of it and you're looking to add something, sure. But at the same time, I mean, DeRozan and Sabonis on the same floor, you know, you got to have some really, really good three-point shooting. And, I mean, you have Herter and Murray.
Yeah.
Those are really good three-point shooters. I don't know how much better you can get. You know what I'm saying? And it's clearly not winning them the conference.
Like they don't have a lot of young guys that they can point to and be like, oh, like he's up next. Like their roster kind of is what it is, and I feel like it's not gonna get better.
That's what I'm saying. And like it's fine. Like I think they're fine with DeRozan, but you know, can you make that next step with DeRozan? And I don't want to sound like it's all DeRozan's fault. It's not. At the end of the day, it's the Kings GM's fault. But you're stuck with him, right? And I don't think he's the problem again. Yeah. It's just he's older. There's a ceiling to this team. That's what I see. I see a complete ceiling. Like I don't think they have any chance to beat the Thunder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, with the clock ticking here, we got 5 minutes.
Okay.
But what do you think the Spurs? They're games back of the play-in. Do you think the Spurs can put something together and with Wemby?
I think they can go in the play-in, but I see a ceiling for so many of these teams. Like I think maybe they could. I don't think they can win a playoff series.
Really, I feel like that's a team. Like if you get in the playoff series, like yeah, maybe like Wemby will win you a game or two. But like you said, like
I agree. I don't think they're going to win a playoff series, even against a team like Memphis or Houston, who seem to be those teams in the West that aren't dominant. Like they're very good, but they can be beaten in a weird series. The Lakers can beat them
depending on the matchup. Which like this is what the West comes down to is matchups come playoff time because like. Now, like, all these younger teams are out, and the higher-seeded teams, and, the lower-seeded, favorites, and, if you look at the betting lines, I bet a lot of these, playing teams who are playing them might actually be, pretty much even, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So, I don't know, who do you think could come out of the West? Because, to me, with teams like the Kings and the Spurs, they do have a little bit of fun to them, but they're not serious to me. Like the Clippers even. This is a good basketball team. I don't see them coming out of the West. The Timberwolves, they have not had a good season.
If I had to pick three, I'd go OKC, Memphis, and Denver.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Same. And outside of those three, Memphis. Yes, exactly. And Denver is even a team where it's like they're going to have to pick it up to do that. I mean, the Lakers... I don't see the Rockets doing anything. I don't see the Clippers doing anything. I don't see the Timberwolves doing anything. The Mavs, I don't see them doing much. The Kings, I don't see them doing anything. So I think if the Suns got Jimmy Butler, if the Lakers maybe made a move, I think those are the surprising teams that could compete with those top three: the Thunder, Grizzlies, and Nuggets. Yeah, because I think the Thunder are the best team. I think you can't count the Nuggets out. The Grizzlies are a team where I'm like, maybe they could do it somehow.
Yeah.
And then the Suns and the Lakers, and I guess you can't count out the Wolves and the Mavs.
Yeah. No,
the Wolves, Mavs, Suns, and Lakers are fun to me. I'm out on the Clippers. I'm out on them. Yeah. They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're like the Kings.
They're winning games in the regular season, but
the Kings and the Clippers, I think they could win a lot of regular season games, but when they get to the playoffs, they have a complete sailing. With the Suns, I feel like Butler could raise their ceiling. The Lakers, I never want to count them out if they make a move for Baylor Levine or something like that. And the Wolves and the Mavs, I don't want to count them out.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think I'd say the Mavs, if they're healthy, I'd be scared to go against Luka in a series.
That's also, what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I don't know about Minnesota just because Randall, I don't like it.
I don't either, but I like them more than the Clippers and the Kings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if I had to rank them, I would go OKC, Denver, Memphis, Dallas, Lakers.
Okay. I'm going to go OKC, Memphis, Denver, and then I want to go... If the Suns get Jimmy Butler, they're my 4. But if they don't, I got to go with the Lakers and the Mavs. Okay. And then the Wolves. The Wolves are my 6. The Suns are either 7 or 4.
Okay. Depending on
Jimmy Butler. Okay. Because I think Jimmy Butler on that roster could really elevate them into a team that could win the West. Because although we say the Thunder, the Grizzlies, the Nuggets, and a few other teams, I think they're all beatable.
Jimmy Butler just posted something on Instagram of him kissing someone's hand, he's leaving.
Hey, and then you said, but in the Eastern Conference, you said Butler can't go to Cleveland, right?
No, they want to trade. They want to trade him there.
Yeah, I think if Cleveland did it, they could do it.
Yeah,
I think they could literally win the East.
I just don't think he puts anyone really over the top that much. I
think with the lack of a dominant team outside of the Thunder in the West, I think the Suns could do it with Butler.
Yeah, the Suns have nothing to lose because they're hey, Know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we've seen,
that's what I'm saying.
We've
like,
seen this experiment for 2 years now, and it hasn't really been working.
Like, you're either gonna win with Durant and Booker, or you're not. And I feel like this is their last chance, like, to get like a guy like Jimmy Butler. I don't see them doing it any other way. So that's where I stand. And then in the East,
KD's only getting older,
right? Like, you got to do it right now or never.
Yeah.
So, and his value's only going down. But yeah, in the East, I mean, I don't think the Knicks can do it. I don't think they can play defense well enough, and I don't think they can beat the Celtics. But I also don't want to completely count them out.
Yeah.
Same with the Bucks.
Like, my problem with the Knicks is just like Brunson, like, relying on a small guard like that to be your main scoring option is tough. Yeah. I mean, they have Cat, who's going crazy this year, but I just feel like Mikal Bridges can give you absolute nothing.
Absolutely.
You know, like 2-3 games in the playoffs, he'll give you nothing.
He needs to be better if they want to really. If he was a little bit better, and maybe he can be, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah, that was the problem in Phoenix too a few years ago. So
facts. No, at the end of the day, so yeah, that was the problem. Like, if he could have just been a little bit better, they could have won the championship.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't. So, yeah. Do you want to talk about Merrimack Hoops for like a minute or two, or?
Yeah, let's run it.
Shout out Bug Clark, Matt Beckton, Devon Savage. They had a big game against Fairfield. I mean, to me, I think we can win this conference. I mean, we're really up at odds against Marist and Quinnipiac.
Yeah. No, I think like Merrimack, like 8-1 right now in the MAAC.
So is Quinnipiac and Marist. We're all 8-1 in the conference.
So we're sitting in third place, and Merrimack, Quinnipiac, and Marist are the best 3 teams in the conference, it looks like right now. We have a Merrimack 20-point per game scorer and a few 3-point shooters off the bench, so our offense is pretty diverse, and our defense is locked down. We went on like a 39 and like 9 run the other day. You see that?
I didn't see it, but I believe it with Joe Gallo.
Yeah.
That guy's insane.
We run like a fun 2-3 zone, so it's fun, but it's like a matchup, and like it's different.
And on offense, our defense for years it's been phenomenal. We send players to really legit schools, lockdown defenders specifically. And now this year we've got the defense, we got Bud Clark on offense, and hey, if they take Clark away, Savage and Becht and Brian Atemno too, like these guys, if they can hit their shots, this is a team that maybe we can make some noise in March Madness. Bud Clark is a dog.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking at our schedule, look at the last 2 games of the season. I think that's going to tell us a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We probably go on a nice little run, even if we drop 1, 2, maybe 3 for the rest of our conference play. But those 2 games, Quinnipiac and Marist to end it off.
Yeah, so we got Marist 2 times, and then Quinnipiac and Marist to finish off the year. So going into the conference tournament, that should like tell us where we're at.
Absolutely.
But I think, I don't know, I'm excited. We're the highest ranked Ken Palm team in the conference.
Okay.
So we have a better basketball program than Boston College right now. You hear that?
Whew.
Hope BC fans hear that.
With guys like Jerome Robinson and Kai Bauman just a few years ago.
So the MAAC is better than ACC.
We're on the come up. We're climbing up though. Hey, you never know with the ACC.
Yeah, but college basketball's been fun. I'm looking forward to talk more about it when we get close into March here. So,
absolutely. It's going to be fun.
That's the best time of the year.
It is, 100%.
Yeah.
The whole country comes together, and, it's a better product than the NBA at this point.
I've been watching more college hoops than NBA, so we'll be locked in for the tournament. So.
Yes, sir. Right. But, yeah, other than that, I think we've wrapped it all up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be back next Monday. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening, and, yeah, peace.
We'll see you. Thank you.